What we can learn from the 29th verse of the Tao Te Ching is that giving up control consciously is actually going to serve us in our healing, spiritual growth, recovery, self-actualization, and hopefully guiding us towards what the big book refers to as a spiritual experience. So a conscious program of surrendering is really where the 12 steps start. It's where any program of recovery from suffering starts. Letting go of the need to control is absolutely essential in order to reprogram your mind, which is going to go through periods of overthinking. And if we overthink anything, scientifically speaking, it becomes negative. Overthinking also tends to be a habit. It tends to get worse and worse. It's progressive, just like addiction. Overthinking gets worse and worse over time. As soon as we let that animal of our mind go, it runs off like a pack of wild horses, round up a hill. So it never stops. And I think practices like mindfulness, meditation, a lot of what we learn in recovery, looking for empty space, looking for stillness, looking for, as Eckhart Tolle says, a powerful now, will bring us all back to a point where we are breathing, where we are thinking steadily, and where we are not running off with our thoughts. Remember, those thoughts run off not to nowhere. They're looking for answers. But again, they will look for everything on the outside, much like happens in addiction, substance abuse, eating disorders, always looking for something on the outside to fill an internal emptiness is not going to happen. So when we're in the middle of a tough moment, repeat the 29th verse of the Tao Te Ching. It would be a good idea, it is up on our web, to put it up and read it every day for at least 30 days. And try and look at the wisdom that has definitely been almost timeless. You will find this wisdom everywhere. So also think of the need to control as a signal, to allow you to remember to flow freely. And in these times, it is important, as we're stretched for time, stretched for money, stretched for resources, it is important that we need to show up and remind ourselves to go with the flow. Do you think you can take over the universe and improve it? I do not believe it can be done. Everything under heaven is a sacred vessel and cannot be controlled. Trying to control leads to ruin. Trying to grasp, we lose. Allow your life to unfold naturally. Know that it too is a vessel of perfection. Just as you breathe in and breathe out, there is a time for being ahead and a time for being behind, a time for being in motion and a time for being at rest, a time for being vigorous and a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe and a time for being in danger. To the sage, all of life is a movement towards perfection. So what we need has he for the excessive, the extravagant, or the extreme. The 29th verse can teach us a lot about control. I always like to quote the old Sufi saying, "Do nothing, you are being done." And it really is a good lesson about letting go of control.